Hello everyone. This video is about putting quotations in your writing. It doesn't matter if you're writing an essay or a story or an article, whatever writing you're doing. When you want to include someone else's ideas or someone else's words, you need to know how to do that accurately. And I'm seeing in your writing that there's definitely some room for this lesson. So I hope this helps. So there are two main ways that you can include somebody else's thoughts in your writing. And one is to paraphrase them, and that is to put into your own words their ideas. In this example, you would not use quotation marks because you aren't going to use the exact words that the person spoke. The other way to include somebody's words or ideas is to directly quote them, and in that case you would use quotation marks because you're going to write the exact words that the person spoke or wrote. And then I'll show you just a few different ways that you can put direct quotes into your writing. We'll take a look at punctuating and such stuff as that. So let's start with paraphrasing. In this sentence, first I'll read the sentence aloud and just kind of notice what's going on here. According to Sally Oversby, a lead contact in the case, the witness, Justin Inskeep, never reached out to her. So the part that Sally actually said is really just this part at the end. He never reached out to her, right? But notice this would be the first time that we're mentioning this person in our writing, and so we use her first and last name, and then we kind of set off a little additional information here with a comma, and we explain who she is or how she kind of relates to what we've been writing about so far, the situation, the relationship, in this case, a case. So when you first introduce a person who you're going to quote in your writing, you need to do all of those things. First and last name, explain how they relate to what's going on in your writing, and then you follow that with whatever he or she has actually said. In this case, it's paraphrased, so you see no quotation marks. According to Sally Oversby, a lead contact in the case, the witness, Justin Inskeep, never reached out to her. So basically, it's really all of this that we are conveying as information that Sally has shared, but we have paraphrased it into our own words. So we don't know how she actually said it. That's a fair way to include people's ideas. In your essay, you might be quoting, you might be talking about Asia McClain and something that she said to the detective. You can just paraphrase. But you don't want to paraphrase everything from everyone, because then nobody else really has a voice in your writing, and giving people their voice by using their own words is a really great way to add some variety to your writing. So here is the same exact information in a direct quote. According to Sally Oversby, Justin Inskeep never contacted me. So now we see the actual words that she used. We can see that she named the witness. She said never contacted rather than never reached out to, and she said me. So with this quote, we've got the first and last name of the speaker, so we know exactly who's speaking. We then have a comma setting off that information from the actual quotation. We have quotation marks at the beginning of the words that Sally, the speaker, used. And then notice that the ending punctuation comes before the final quotation, the closing quotation marks. This is really important. The way you punctuate quotations needs to be consistent and accurate. We always put the beginning punctuation before the quotation marks, and the ending punctuation also goes before the quotation mark. So in this example, it's very, very clean, right? So I have not included this information here about who Sally is. I also haven't included this information here about who Justin is. So we would probably have to include that somewhere else. Maybe I would have introduced Sally in a sentence before this, I don't know. But here's something else to consider. So we just talked about the punctuation. What if this were not the end of the sentence? What if I wanted to continue the sentence? Here's an example of the quote in the middle of a sentence. And basically, we're just replacing that period with a comma and then continuing the sentence. You see that? According to Sally Oversby, Justin Inskeep never contacted me. And that was the story she stuck with throughout the case, period. Okay, here's another way to include a direct quote in your essay. It's basically the same exact thing, right, from there, but we've given some context. So it's really important to not just kind of dump people's words into your essay, but to provide some context and let your reader understand why you're including the quote or who the speaker was speaking to when the quote was said. Okay. Sometimes we might think it's going to be beneficial for whatever reason not to include every single word that the author spoke, or sorry, that the speaker spoke. And so here are two ways that you can include a partial quote. In a conversation with the detective, Sally Oversby said that Justin Inskeep, the witness, never contacted her. So you can see we used her exact words, never contacted, and they are surrounded by quotation marks, but we didn't want to use the word me because it wouldn't fit well in this sentence, so we used the word her. So that's a partial quote, and it's nice because it gives Sally a little bit of a voice in our sentence. Now here is another way to do this that doesn't require commas before and after the quoted words. When speaking with the detective, Sally Oversby said that the witness had never contacted her. You see how this sentence just flows really nicely with no pauses? We don't have to always put a comma before a quote. We only need to do that when we have set up the quote with this, what we call a tag, the speaker and said or something like that. But these words flow right into our sentence, and we just put the quotation marks there to clarify that these are not our words, but Sally's words. If you want some more information on this, there's a video right here that I will open up in a moment, but there are two focus areas that you already have access to. They're in your additional line of focus areas. They are Embedding Quotations 7 and Embedding Quotations 1. And these will give you, as you know, the focus areas will give you all kinds of resources, videos, documents, papers, slideshows to help give you more information on this stuff and some practice. So I'm thinking that if you take some time to go through the resources in the focus area, even if you don't study everything in the focus area and take the content assessment, it's still going to help you with all of the writing that you do, and especially with the essay that you're working on right now for Unsolved Mystery. This video comes from one of those focus areas, and it gives a lot more examples. So I will share that with you if you would like to have it. Meanwhile, I hope that I see an improvement in the way that you're including other people's words in your essay. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye.